your nematode can be classified into how they attack and feed on the plants. So, pwede mo silang i-classify yung mga nematodes natin based on their feeding location. Sila ba ay umaatake doon sa labas lang ng halaman or sa loob ng halaman? Or in terms of mobility, sila ba ay gumagalaw or nag-i-stay lang sila doon sa specific part of the plant and then doon na sila for the rest of their lives? Right? So in terms of feeding location, meron tayong dalawang classification ng nematodes. You have ectoparasites and endoparasites. Yung mga nematodes that feed externally, so ginagamit nila basically yung stylet nila para tusukin yung epidermal tissues ng halaman. We call them ectoparasites. Most of their body nasa labas ng halaman, but they use their stylet to feed on the epidermal cells of the plant. We call that as ectoparasite. Nasa labas sila. Kumbaga sila'y tumitikim or sila'y kumukurot lamang doon sa halaman. And meron ka rin namang mga parasite, may mga nematodes ka rin naman that enter the plant. So yung kanilang infective stage, papasok sila mismo doon sa halaman, papasok sila for example doon sa root cortex into the vascular tissue, and then they move inside the plants, causing cellular destruction. So kapag naubos na, for example, yung pagkain sa part na yan, yung mga ibang nematodes na gumagalaw, they can migrate. We call that migratory, but later on pag-usapan natin. So yun yung difference between ectoparasite and endoparasitic nematodes. Ecto means nasa labas, they are only scraping yung surface ng epidermal cells of the plant. Examples dyan would be the Syphinema and the Lungidurus nematodes. Whereas yung mga endoparasite naman, sila ay yung pumapasok mismo doon sa halaman. Example would be the Meloidogyne and the Globodera nematodes. Now, aside from its feeding location, you can classify nematodes based on their mobility. Sila ba ay gumagalaw or nakasteady lang sa isang place ng halaman? Kapag sila ay gumagalaw, we call them as migratory. So it means they move from one feeding station or from one feeding site into the another. So kapag naubos na yung food, for example, sa area na yan, pwede silang gumalaw, lilipat naman sa kabilang area. So itong mga migratory nematodes na to can cause extensive root damage if they have been infecting the roots. Now, mayroon ka namang mga nematodes that are sedentary, which basically what they do is that they stay on one spot. Nag-e-establish sila ng feeding site sa isang location and yun dun lamang sila kumakain. And ito yung mga nematodes that causes hypertrophy and hyperplasia, katulad ng galing. So example ng sedentary nematodes are your Meloidogyne, kasama na dyan yung Globodera. Whereas yung mga migratory naman, kasama dyan yung Pratilentius. So tignan natin sa susunod na slide yung classification ng mga different nematodes based on the combined categories of mobility and feeding location. So first off, meron tayong mga migratory ectoparasite. So ano yung mga migratory ectoparasites? They are feeding outside of the plant. So they are just scraping yung epidermal cells ng roots, for example. And then, kapag naubos na yon, gagalaw sila to scrape other feeding site locations. Kaya migratory. So they're moving, but most of their body parts are outside of the plant. So example niyan is Longedurus, yung mga Syphinema, Trichodurus, and Paratrichodurus. So Longedurus, yan yung needle nematode natin. Trichodurus are the dagger nematode. And Trichodurus naman, and Paratrichodurus, yan yung mga stubby root nematode. Meron ka rin namang mga sedentary ectoparasite. Meaning, nandun lang din sila sa labas, but they do not move. Kumbaga, namamahay lang sila doon sa one specific spot in the roots of the plant. So example would be your ring nematode. We call that as Criconemoides. And we have Hemicriconemoides, which is also a ring nematode. This one. And then meron ka namang tinatawag na semi-endoparasite. O ano kaya yung semi-endoparasite naman? Yan yung mga nematodes na parang half-half, kumbaga. Half of their body is within the plant, half of their body nasa labas naman ng halaman. And examples of that would be your citrus nematode, yung Tylenchellus, and we have your reniform nematodes or the Rotilenchulus nematodes. And then we have sedentary endoparasites, yung mga papasok sa halaman, tapos at a specific site, titigil, doon sila mamamahay, ang tawag mo doon sedentary endoparasite. And examples of that would be your Meloidogyne, which is your root knot nematode, Globodera, which is your cyst nematodes, your Nacobus, your false root knot nematode, and Hirschmaniella or your rice root nematode. Your nematode is being able to infect many plants because they are able to reproduce. And there are 3 important reproductive strategies of your nematodes. Unang-una, your nematodes can reproduce by the copulation of the male and female nematode. And ang tawag natin dyan is amphimixis. So, kailangan mo ng male and female nematodes. Tapos, kapag nabuntis na yung female nematodes, yan ay mangingitlog. And yung next generation of nematode na yun is basically has some genetic variation. Kasi yung genes niya ay galing both from the male and the female. Ang tawag natin sa process na yan, amphimixis. Ngayon, ang mga babaeng nematode, hindi nila kailangan ng lalaki. Sometimes. And we call that as parthenogenesis, which is like the cloning of the mother nematodes. The advantage of this is that this allows for rapid population increase. Kasi kahit na walang lalaki, yung babaeng nematode mismo can clone themselves through parthenogenesis and can infect your plants. And another reproductive strategy that is important, lalong-lalo na kapag unfavorable yung conditions, is what we call a sex reversal. Wherein, yung mga nematodes na dapat babae, magiging lalaki. Why? Kasi nasabi natin kanina, di ba? Mostly ang mga lalaki, yan yung hindi parasitic. Right after copulation, namamatay ang mga yan. Ang parasitic is yung mga babae. Kasi yung mga babae, sila yung matakaw kasi sila yung kailangan mangitlog. Now, under unfavorable conditions, ayaw mo na napakadaming babae. Kasi kapag napakadaming babae at wala masyadong pagkain, mamamatay yung lahi ng nematode na yun. So what happens is, they reverse. So females, yung mga destined na maging females, they become males. Okay? Under unfavorable conditions para makapag-survive yung kanilang lahi. And speaking of survival, there is actually a dormancy mechanism for nematodes, which means kapag hindi maganda yung kanilang condition, yung environmental condition, they can still ensure yung kanilang population into your agricultural system. So the first one, we call it as diapause. So diapause, ito yung state of arrested development. So kapag hindi maganda yung environment, okay, the specific conditions are not met, they pause their development. And we call that diapause. But the diapause mechanism of your nematode is controlled by genes and other hormones. So, kinokontrol yan ng genes and other hormones. Hindi lang siya nakadepende sa environment, but rather nakadepende siya doon sa genetic instruction and doon sa hormonal regulation ng iyong nematodes. That's diapause. Now, itong quiescence naman, yan yung totally nakadepende yung mechanism na ito based on the environment. So there is no genetic or hormonal control here. It is purely an environmental response. Yun ang quiescence. And there are different types of quiescence. We have, for example, cryobiosis. Kapag masyadong malamig, anong ginagawa ng mga nematodes? Yung mga nematodes mo, nagpo-produce sila ng anti-freeze-like substance, basically, na ang ginagawa ng anti-freeze substance na yon is that they prevent ice from forming inside the body of the nematode. Na kapag okay na yung environment, when the environment warms up, para silang nagtoto. So, kumbaga yung karne na galing sa ref, inilabas mo para matunaw yung ice, and then they would live again. So, that's cryobiosis. Paano naman kapag sobrang mainit? So, we have thermobiosis naman. Under thermobiosis, anong ginagawa ng nematodes? Ini-slow nila yung kanilang metabolism. So, when they slow down their metabolism, they prevent overheating. So, thermobiosis yung tawag dyan. And for some nematodes, they also produce some kind of proteins. Okay? Yung protein na yun is heat protective. Parang sunblock, kumbaga, sa kanilang balat. That is also thermobiosis. Now, we also have anoxybiosis kapag wala masyadong oxygen. Ang mga nematodes, kailangan nila ng oxygen. So what do they do if the environment lacks oxygen? Ang gagawin ng mga nematode, they will absorb water and then they swell up. Kapag okay na, saka ulit sila, they continue with their daily routine. Ganun mo na lang isipin. We also have osmobiosis. Kapag naman masyadong mataas yung osmotic pressure or mataas yung salt doon sa lupa. So what happens is, the nematodes, if there's too much salt in the soil, to prevent drying up, ang gagawin nila, i-adjust nila yung kanilang internal water balance. And kapag normal na, ibabalik sila sa normal and they will continue on with their lives. And finally, we have anhydrobiosis. Kapag walang-wala na talagang tubig and they are dehydrated. In order for them not to die, ang gagawin ng mga nematodes na to, they dry out completely. And then nagpuproduce sila ng special sugar called trehalose. So we call that special sugar, we call that trehalose. And yung trehalose na to would serve as a protective shield of them during the dehydration phase in their environment. So what happens is mag-shrivel sila. So kumbaga liliit sila, no? Makpes na. And then kapag may tubig na ulit yung environment, they will rehydrate and start moving again. So parang instant noodles, diba? Ang instant noodles, matigas yan. So yan yung nematode na nasa anhydrobiosis. And kapag nilagyan mo yan ng mainit na tubig, lalambot ulit sila, they will continue on with their lives. So that's anhydrobiosis. But one of the most important survival mechanism of your nematode is their egg stage. Kasi ang mga nematodes natin, kapag naging juvenile stage na sila, mas nagiging vulnerable sila sa mga external stresses in their environment. So the eggshell provides them protection. And for some nematodes, yung egg nila, kapag hindi maganda yung external environment, nananatili silang itlog up until such time na umokay na yung environment for them to become juveniles. So examples of that would be, for example, yung Meloidogyne na species ng nematode, na genus, na nematode. Yung kanyang egg, babalutan niya ng gelatinous matrix. Ito ay jelly-like substance, okay, that protects the egg from drying It also protects the egg from predators and other environmental stresses. Pag hindi maganda yung environment, the meloidogyne will cover, so parang lumpia wrapper, cover niya yung kanyang itlog with a gelatinous matrix to protect the egg. We also have the Globodera and Heterodera, which creates a thick-walled eggs called a cyst to protect their egg. Anong nangyayari dyan? So yung female nematode ng Globodera, yung kanyang katawan, yun yung gagawin niya na pamprotekta sa kanyang itlog. So hindi niya muna ilalabas yung kanyang itlog, or basically babalutin niya yung itlog niya ng kanyang katawan, tapos titigas yung katawan niya na yon na magpo-protect sa kanyang mga eggs. And we call that a cyst. Kaya ang Globodera, we call it a cyst nematodes. And her eggs will be protected for years, even decades. Now, kapag okay na yung condition, saka lang mag-hatch ulit yung egg and the cycle will start again. Another survival mechanism is what we call as tower stage or yung development arrest stage. For example, yung ating Rotilenchus. Yung mga nematodes natin, they enter a pause stage. We call that is tower. So what will happen is that they will stop eating, kakapal yung kanilang cuticle, and they become resistant to extreme conditions. Kapag okay na ulit yung environmental conditions nila, then they will resume their normal development. And for others, like Tytylenchus and Anguina, they coil and they clump. So parang ganito. So they curl up tightly, okay? Para ma-reduce yung water loss and prevent movement. That is their way of surviving harsh conditions. And when better conditions occur, nag-uncoil sila and they continue with their active lives again. Ito na siguro yung crucial na topic na pag-uusapan natin because we will be talking about some major plant pathogens that is caused by our nematodes. But before that, dahil ang nematode mo is an animal, okay? Ang mga nematodes na ito ay maaari ding iparasitize ng iba't ibang klase ng halaman or bacteria, let's say, that acts as their natural enemies.
Magti-take ka ba ng licensure exam for agriculturists this year? If yes, I believe my course is for you. Enroll now at Learning Agri with the modular course by clicking the link below. Ano pang hinihintay mo? Mag-enroll ka na. Samahan kita mag-review. Bye!